Welcome to Western North Carolina. Today, we're overlooking Pisgah National Forest off the Blue Ridge Parkway. Home to some of the biggest mountains on the East Coast, more breweries per capita than anywhere else in the US, Asheville and the outlying areas are a mountain bike rock climbing destination and is also regarded as one of the hubs for the cycling industry on the East Coast. And today we're gonna be going behind the brands to meet the people working at Cane Creek Cycling Components, learn a little bit about the passion, their assembly of really cool made in the USA products, and of course, see some of the amazing trails here in the Appalachian Mountain Range. Hey, what up, man?
Hey, Drew. Good to see you, man.
You too.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey, guys. I'm Sam Anderson, brand manager here at Cane Creek Cycling Components. We're excited to have you guys and show you around today. We've been here since 1974, making premium mountain bike, gravel, road, and commuter products for everybody. Come on inside.
No nonsense and straight to work, right?
Yeah, that's right. First thing that you'll see when you do a factory tour here at Cane Creek is our suspension production. We got shocks on this side, forks right here. This is where the magic happens. But before we get into the details on that stuff, we're gonna go talk to the most experienced sales veteran of Cane Creek history, Peter Gilbert. He's been here since 1988.
You know, I think like a lot of people, I got into the bike as a kid wanting to explore, working retail bike shops all the way from that mid-70s to 1987, at which point I was introduced to the guys from Diacomp USA and Diacomp Japan, and they were looking for a sales rep on the West Coast.
So how did you get from Diacomp in '87 to Cane Creek?
In the early 90s, it became apparent to us that we were getting ourselves involved in more unusual products that were not brake products. As mountain biking was growing, you know, things were changing up, and Diacomp was reluctant to move along with it. You know, we were already very involved in threadless headsets and suspension forks, RockShox.
What are some highlights or favorite memories you've got from the decades?
Over the years, inadvertently, we kind of stepped into some things. Right around the time, and that would have been 1989, we became partners with Steve Simons and Paul Turner of RockShox, and we were doing, our part of the partnership was we were doing all the sales, distribution, manufacturing, assembly was done here in this building.
So at one point, the Cane Creek building was making RockShox forks.
Yep.
That's something I don't think probably a lot of people know.
I don't think they do. It's one of those things like, how did that happen? And how it happened is our advertising agency out of Boulder knew Paul Turner, and he wanted to get something going, and we were open-minded.
You had the facility.
And it's like, let's do it. And I think that's something that I'm definitely proud of both back in the old days as well as we are today, is a pretty open-minded company that's not afraid to try stuff.
I had a Mag 21 way back in the day.
That was, we did.
That was my first fork. So.
Actually, we did the Mag 20s. We did not do the Mag 21.
That was the gold one.
Yeah, they're both gold. It's just that the 21 was the second generation product out of, and those were assembled in California. It was neat being part of it. And that also opened doors for us because, case in point, the threadless headsets, we were at the first World Championships in Durango in '89, just busy as heck. But this Texan, John Rader, kind of rolled up to the RockShox area, and they got a hold of me, and he says, hey, I want to show you something. And he basically unbolted his fork and dropped it out in like seconds. And I'm like, that was way too easy. And he got back on his bike and rode away. You know, so how did he do that? So I found the guy the next day, found John, and we looked at it again. And after I looked at it more seriously, I immediately got on the phone and called back to the office and said, you guys need to talk to this guy now. And that's where basically we met John and the threadless headset. And again, had the pleasure of having a really good relationship with John and bringing threadless headsets to the market.
Cool. Well, thanks very much. I appreciate it. And now we're gonna go see how these things get built.
Go for it.
So appreciate
Enjoy.
it. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, I hope you liked the history lesson with Peter. We're gonna go talk to Greg Davis now, who's in charge of the warehouse, and kind of go through the day-to-day in and out of what Cane Creek does every single day. So this is Greg and Noah. These guys are our material handlers, and Greg is our facilities manager. Is that the title?
Manager. Mm-hmm.
Warehouse manager. I'm gonna give it off to Greg, and he's gonna kind of tell you guys the ins and outs of what they do receiving and shipping.
Our material handlers are dealing with material as it comes in directly from Taiwan, is where the bulk of our materials come in, our raw product. Then we warehouse here that we try to distribute all the parts to our production crews in a just-in-time type of methodology. So when they need the parts and they're ready to build, we get it to them. As that material flows out of the warehouse, as we are asked to bring it out for the production areas, we'll come on through the warehouse into where our headsets are built. We have various work cells for the different production, the different product groups.
Okay.
Our cranks, bottom brackets, and e-brakes are done back over in this area. Again, as I said, our headsets here, and then flowing into our suspension products, which being forks and the shocks, the rear shocks that are back down there. So each of them have their respective parts that they need. And as you can see here, we have loaded up Diane with her parts to assemble these headsets, and making sure that we keep her busy. She stays well ahead of us. We have to move to keep ahead of her.
So are you a very organized person? Like, is your house and your car all friggin' perfectly organized?
It depends on who you ask, me or my wife. She's probably the more organized person at the house,
okay.
But yeah.
This is your domain?
Yes.
So when you leave here, you don't want to do more organizing?
That tends to be the case, yeah.
All right, man, so you saw how things come in and how eventually it goes out, but let's talk about how we actually make the product here at Cane Creek. We're gonna go talk to Alex. He's our suspension manager, and he manages forks and shocks production.
So this is definitely the coolest part of the entire building. I'm biased, right? But right now we're in our rear suspension work cell. So we've got Brian over here making some valve bodies for inline shocks. Dennis is building some smaller components for our Kitsuma shock. And kind of how our workflow works is we'll build up smaller components for each type of shock, and then we batch them and store them in what we call the supermarket. Okay. And then when we get orders for completed shocks of a certain size, then all of those subcomponents are ready, and we can basically turn and burn the orders a lot faster. So all of our suspension is hand assembled here in the factory, and it all gets filled and dynoed by technicians who, for the most part, we're all pretty serious riders. We're all pretty picky about how everything gets assembled and tested because we all like to ride it really hard. Yeah.
Speaking of picky, I'm looking at a lot of very small parts on that workbench.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
how often did one of those get dropped?
Oh, every once in a while, right? And yeah, we've got really, really small parts. Something as small as like a human eyelash can fall on the wrong part of a shock and cause an air or oil leak. So you definitely have to be on it when you're building all of it. Curtis is running a Kitsuma coil like we were talking about. And all the dyno tests, they run until the shock reaches a certain temperature. So we've got laser beams over here shooting at the shock, right? And those all measure the temperature of the shock, and the idea is get it warmed up like as if you're actually using it before you take readings. And the dyno test for the gas pressure, because all dampers have high pressure nitrogen gas either in the reservoir or in our IL shocks up in the end eye. We are really excited on the Kitsuma. We have a 3-position climb switch lever. And so this Kitsuma test actually runs an open mode test, then sort of our middle mode, the climb switch mode, if you will. And then our last mode is nearly a lockout for climbing gravel roads, pavement, whatever.
We're really excited to announce that we are making all of our service instructions for suspension products available to the public on our website. So Alex, Hiram, and Nate are the 3 guys that are pivotal to that. They've been working on this for about 6 months. We've got a lot of details for every single product, but they're finishing up some of the older generation helm stuff right now. And it should be made available for all of our suspension products in the middle of this summer in 2022.
He looks like the type of guy that's gonna put her on a climb too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I try.
Yeah, Brian rips.
Yeah.
He's like very comfortable jumping his mountain bike.
Yeah.
You can tell he rode a lot of BMX. Yeah.
Whenever we get a new employee and they're like, yeah, I play ping pong, we gotta like vet them out, see if they're like a contender to the championship,
They gotta go against you.
Yeah,
The Forrest Gump of Cane Creek.
It's part of the interview process, you gotta at least like hang on the ping pong table.
Otherwise you're out.
Man, one of the cool things about coming to Cane Creek and doing a factory tour is you get to see everything being assembled and made here. And then also we have a showroom like you would see at a traditional, forward-facing retail front. If you've ever been to an event where a Cane Creek tent has been, you've probably met Andrew. And we will be out at a bunch of events this year and future events, and I guarantee if the tent is set up, he's gonna be there. We don't really get to do a whole lot of OE business because we assemble all of our forks and shocks in the United States on a very small scale. So when we do get to do a collaboration with a big brand like this, it's a big deal for us. And I think, you actually rode the bike in Sedona?
I did, yeah. Back during the Bike Fest, it was really cool, performed great, and I could imagine, right, as a small brand doing stuff, it's really cool to get the chance to collab with a brand, and it looks great, it rides great, so I'm sure they won't be lasting long if there's any left.
Yeah, and actually I think they still have a few left on YT's website, so go check them out.
Right on, man.
Ready?
Yep.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay. Me neither. I'm never sure.
We're up here with Aaron Goodall in the rider engagement department here at Cane Creek. We really take pride in our customers and being really good at customer service, and Aaron will tell you a bit more about that.
Okay.
Is that better?
We call ourselves the Red Team, so we deal with retail customers and dealers, so local bike shops. A lot of interpersonal connection and knowing a vast product line from headsets to seat posts to really intricate shocks and fork designs.
And so are you mostly on phone, email, or both?
Both.
Okay.
All. In addition to that, we do go out in the field once a week. Several of us will go either to a trailhead or join a group ride from a bike shop and just hang out and ride with people in our community.
Right on. Are you an air shock or a coil shock rider?
Both.
Okay.
I have a coil on my bike right now, but I also have a Kitsuma Air.
Okay.
I've been riding mountain bikes for a little under a year, but I've been riding bikes for like 14 years. So I just went head first, and I have both because I'm spoiled because I work here.
There you go. How long have you been working here?
I've been working here just over a year. Yeah.
And were you in the bike industry before that?
I was, yes.
What were you doing?
I worked for Bike Flights for 3 years and then a variety of shops, and I just traveled and raced for a couple of years. I don't know if that's bike industry, but it's bike adjacent.
Are these yours right here?
Yes.
Oh, okay, weird.
Yeah. Don't mind if I point them out. No, yeah. So I was just kind of a bike racing, bum out of a car for a while too. And sometimes I wear them to our meetings, just Flavor Flav style, and put everyone in their place.
You've got a 1 in 4 chance of talking to the very fun and friendly Aaron if you call Cane Creek customer support. So thank you. Many, many years ago, I worked in customer support for a bike company, and it was usually pretty fun, but every once in a while there are some angry people out there, so give them a break. Like construction workers out on the road, right?
Yeah, cut us a break. Yeah, for sure.
Right on. Thanks, Mo. We'll see you later out on the trails, I guess.
Yeah.
Normally you can't go back here, but today we get all access. Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, man. Jeff LaForge. I'm the engineering manager. Welcome to the lab.
All right, excited to be here. What are we gonna be taking a look at today?
Yeah, so we can kind of show you some of our test equipment. We can talk about our product development process.
Right on. So how important is it to have a facility like this on site for Cane Creek?
I mean, Cane Creek is a product company, right? Like, we wouldn't be here able to do what we do if not for the product we make. So we take a lot of pride in our engineering team and our whole product development team. Without that, Cane Creek wouldn't be able to be Cane Creek.
As you work on future products, what are things that you're putting in your brain and onto the computer and testing and developing?
Anytime we're riding or we're out at an event, we're always looking for a niche, right? Somewhere that we can come in and make the bicycle better. What does this shock lacking and what could be better about the next configuration of it. That's something that all of us are always thinking about. And not just in our department, we get ideas from folks on the floor building it, we get ideas from the marketing team. So it's really cross-functional and holistic, but we're always looking for ways to improve. And then, we'll make maybe small improvements to this before we, take that technology into a whole new envelope or package. We just launched a gravel stem a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And we actually started this development in 2018. You can see the stems were longer. They were like 110 millimeter stems, right? Because gravel is it's evolving so quickly, and we're like, oh, we'll offer a 100 to 120 mil. And it's like, no, we actually, 4 years later when we go to market, we're going 80 to 100, right?
That's crazy.
And so, we were kind of going down this path with the elastomer behind the pivot. And it rode great, and it was a fine product, but just doesn't look good. You don't want to be looking down on this. And also it was not very cost effective for us to really bring to market the way we wanted to.
Okay.
So we kind of did a hard reset and started over and went to more of the architecture you see with the production version.
And
so
at
we
that
start
point,
with just
you're years in already at this point.
Right.
And you had to scrap it and start over essentially.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time we've had to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's good that we're able to, as a company, really evaluate what's going to move the needle, right? What do we want to put our name on? And sometimes, you have to take a step back and start over. This is probably the coolest piece of equipment in the building.
I heard someone else bragging about that already today, didn't we?
Coolest machine in the whole work cell.
He did.
I don't know. So his dynos go 10 inches a second.
Okay.
And they're rotary dynos, so basically a big motor spins the wheel, which is then captured and goes up and down. Whereas this is a giant electromagnet.
Already sounds cooler.
Way cooler. 160 inches a second.
Okay.
Like instantaneously on a sine wave or a triangle wave. So it'll just hit 160 inches a second. What's up?
Pretty sure on your part of the tour you said you had the coolest machine in the building.
I do. Yeah. Nah, Jeff has the coolest. He has the electromagnetic.
Oh, well, now the story changes, huh? Jeez.
Yeah, and then the last piece of the R&D puzzle is Tim. Years ago, Tim in our machine shop was really focused on production work, right? We made our 110 cups, seal heads, pistons, things of that nature that were just kind of manufactured in-house, and they were very much a manufacturing shop, if you will, right, to support production. We've since kind of shifted the philosophy of the machine shop to support R&D. And so Tim is able to quickly turn out prototypes, and he's pretty much 100% dedicated to supporting us and what we're doing and making cool products quickly.
What do you enjoy most about what you do?
I've machined in a lot of industries, worked in aerospace, worked at a job shop across the street. But here we actually get to be part of developing a product. So that's a lot different than what I'm used to. I can see some of the problems that we have, so we always discuss that stuff and work it out before we even start making parts.
So if they come to you with some schematics or drawings or something, you could foresee some issues that might be there after the manufacturing.
Totally.
It looks like you might have a little bit of a fishing problem.
Fishing is never a problem.
That was
Not going fishing is a problem.
That's what I was hoping the answer is going to be. So, what kind of fishing do you like to do?
I like to catch the big guys, muskies. Sam likes to call them short-faced gar. Big, teethy, hard to catch. I kind of like the challenge of going to fish from something that you might not catch one every 3 months. But
Push that green button and spray some Windex on it, and then your parts just come out.
Magic, huh?
Pretty much.
I wish it was that easy.
Cane Creek obviously has been around a lot longer than 2016, right? So what were things that drew you to the brand and what were challenges that you were looking forward to overcoming?
Yeah, I'd known Cane Creek a long time. Matter of fact, Peter Gilbert, who you talked to earlier, he used to call on me when I was a product manager at Diamondback. Matter of fact, back then it was Diacomp. The company was Diacomp. And when he came to me in like 94 or 5 or something and said, hey, we're changing the name to Cane Creek, I said, what in the hell are you doing? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. What is Cane Creek? Diacomp's legendary, especially in the BMX mountain bike world back in the day. Cane Creek had really focused on rear suspension, rightfully so, with the double barrel, bringing it to market in mountain bikes. And that looked really good, but too much of a good thing is too much. And the company was too concentrated on rear shocks at the expense of other product categories. So when Cane Creek introduced the inline shock and didn't do as good a job as it should have, that really put the company in a bind. We burned a lot of customers, a lot of riders, and in 2016 it was looking pretty rough. But there was a core group here then and still now, Sam, Peter, Craig, TR, Jeff, many others that have really done a fantastic job. And the cornerstone of that turnaround is new product. We have to have an angle, have to have merit. And so part of our mission statement is to be an alternative, a premium alternative. I mean, we feel like there's a lot of opportunity to do things differently, and then offer a more personal approach from assembly, which you saw outside, right, to customer service. So the new product and making sure that product really has merit and really staying connected to the rider. And as long as we stick to our DNA, I mean, something that needs to be in every single product, authenticity, alternative, and craftsmanship. As long as we stick to that, then it makes sense. Most of my career, I look back and I remember products. But increasingly, these days, I remember the people successes. I mean, seeing people take on more and more responsibility and excel in that, and seeing them really own it. And we got some people doing that, a great job there. Jeff in engineering, Joseph over in supply chain, Sam over in product management. I mean, just to name a few, but a number of those guys and gals, to see them really learn, step up, that now ranks up there for me as some of those earlier product successes.
Nice work. Awesome ride.
Thanks for visiting Cane Creek!
That's a wrap.